Ultra, Pro or Ultimate. Many smartwatch manufacturers offer these, very special or ultimate versions in addition to their regular smartwatches. The most well-known example is of course the Apple Watch Ultra 3, and the Huawei Watch Ultimate 2 is positioned as an alternative to exactly this watch. The Ultimate 2 is extremely rugged. It is the first smartwatch to support diving down to 150 meters, it offers offline maps for navigation, an ECG feature and much more. In today's video we'll take a closer look at what else the watch can do, how it compares to the Apple Watch Ultra and other smartwatches, and whether it's worth its price. So let's dive right in, have fun. The Huawei Watch Ultimate 2 is available in two different colors, black and blue. This time I decided to step away from my usual rather color neutral choices and went with the blue and white version. Overall, I find the design of the watch somewhat of an acquired taste, so on the plus side it's definitely something different, but on the downside, it's definitely something different. So I have to say that during the first couple of days I really didn't like the design of the watch at all. By now I have to say it's growing on me more and more, but it's still not my favorite watch design. The black version has a case diameter of 48.5mm, while the blue version measures 47.8mm. Both versions are 12.9mm thick and weigh a solid 80 grams even without a strap. So for slimmer wrists, this watch is certainly not the best choice, and even on my wrist it looks extremely bulky. That said, it's obviously also very robust and premium. The case is made from an amorphous zirconium based alloy. I definitely had to read that off, which is essentially metallic glass. And the case really does feel very rugged and luxurious. The back of the case is made of ceramic and everything is topped off with sapphire glass to protect the display. And speaking of the display, it's a 1.5-inch AMOLED panel with a resolution of 466x466 pixels and a maximum brightness of 3500 nits. There's really nothing to complain about here. The display is extremely bright, razor sharp and simply looks great. The robustness is further emphasized by the fact that the Ultimate 2 is water resistant up to 20 ATM. That's one of the highest ratings I'm aware of for any smartwatch. For comparison, the Garmin Descent MK3, which is a dedicated dive watch, also offers 20 ATM, while the Apple Watch Ultra 3, for example, is only rated at 10 ATM. This means the Ultimate 2 is generally suitable for diving down to depths of up to 150 meters, making it the first smartwatch ever to support this. The strap on the black version is made of fluoroelastomer, while the blue version comes with a woven strap that is also coated with fluoroelastomer. With the blue version you also get an additional titanium strap, which is why the overall package here is a bit more expensive. This strap is of course even more premium, but I didn't test it in detail here, as I already did so recently with the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro. In my opinion, a titanium strap is simply not the ideal choice for athletes. Another very noticeable design element is the blue and white bezel with large number markings. As mentioned before, the design is quite unconventional, so opinions will definitely vary, so feel free to leave your thoughts on the watch in the comment section down below. Now that we're moving on to the features of the watch, I have to start by highlighting something positive, which is that you can use the Huawei Watch Ultimate 2 with both Android and iOS, in contrast to an Apple Watch or a Samsung Galaxy Watch. Due to the US embargo against Huawei, however, you can't download the app from the Google Play Store. Instead, you will find a QR code on the packaging that you can scan to download the app directly to your smartphone via the provided link. The watch also supports eSIM, so with an appropriate mobile plan, you're not dependent on your smartphone. You can receive messages or take phone calls just with the watch itself because, with an eSIM plan, the watch can establish its own internet connection. But now let's go through the individual features of the watch. As with other Huawei watches, you can swipe sideways through the different widgets. First, you will find information like the weather, your current heart rate or maps, which we'll talk about in more detail in a moment. Then there are various fitness metrics such as steps, calories and the activity rings that help you work towards your daily movement goals. Next come health metrics like heart rate again, blood oxygen saturation, stress levels and heart rate variability. To the right of that you will also find sleep analysis, including a sleep quality score, sleep stages and key metrics like resting heart rate. The Health Insights analyze what range your health values usually fall into and whether there are any deviations from your personal norm. For example, if your resting heart rate was significantly higher than usual last night, this could potentially indicate an upcoming cold or something similar. There was also the so-called Health Glance feature. This is a quick 1-minute test that checks your basic health metrics. You can start it via the app or simply place your finger on the so-called X-step sensor on the side of the case. Normally, the sensors responsible for fitness and health tracking on smartwatches or sports watches are located on the back of the case. As already seen with the Huawei Watch 5, this watch additionally uses a sensor on the side of the case where you place your finger for measurements. Measuring at the fingertips has the key advantage that the skin is much thinner here and also hair doesn't interfere with the measurements like it does on the wrist. Additionally, a loose fit on the wrist can also lead to slightly less accurate measurements, which I often repeat in my videos, and this can also be avoided by measuring with your fingertip. More specifically, this is a 3-in-1 sensor. It can record an ECG, so the device software is medically certified for this, and it can also perform a PPG measurement to detect changes in blood vessel volume. This allows not only heart rate measurement, but also the detection of heart rhythm irregularities. In addition, it's also a tactile sensor that can detect up to 10 pressure levels. As a result, X-step can capture electrical, optical, acoustic, and mechanical data simultaneously, which is intended to provide particularly high accuracy. For example, in the blood oxygen widget, you can also use the X-step sensor directly for measurement. The Huawei Watch Ultimate 2 also has a lot to offer for athletes. In training mode, you can choose from over 100 different sports. And of course, the watch's high water resistance is fully utilized here as well, with modes for open water swimming, free diving, scuba diving, and even technical diving. There is also a depth gauge mode, and the watch allows you to use sonar-based underwater communication. According to Huawei, this technology is used for the first time in a smartwatch ever on the Ultimate 2. Personally, I'm not a diver and I don't really have access to diving sites where I could test these diving features, but for divers, this is certainly a very exciting watch. Golfers should be happy as well. The watch includes a golf mode with over 17,000 golf course maps, it calculates ball trajectories and offers many additional golf-specific features. When it comes to running, you can create interval workouts directly on the watch. There are training plans, pre-installed courses, and pretty much everything a runner could ask for. You can also perform a lactate threshold test using the watch, and for every single sport there are guided warm-up workouts tailored to the muscle groups used in that activity. In the app you will also find many more courses, whether you are a complete beginner or more advanced, and for a wide range of fitness goals. You can also create your own custom courses directly in the app. In addition to full courses, there are also individual workouts available, whether you want to lose weight, build muscle, are looking for running workouts, or even jump rope sessions. And when you start a workout in the app, you get a live video with detailed instructions that you can follow along with. During workouts, a wide range of metrics is recorded. For running, for example, this includes data such as running balance, ground contact time, and vertical oscillation. You also see training intensity and training load in both the aerobic and anaerobic ranges. For outdoor activities, there is an expedition mode. The watch offers a widget for altitude acclimatization, and it includes automatic fall detection. For navigation, you can load routes onto the watch and use turn-by-turn instructions. What's special here is that you can also download offline maps directly to the watch, so in the Huawei Health app, you select a map area and then use navigation on the watch without relying on your smartphone. These are topographic maps with all the details you typically need. For route tracking, the watch supports all common GNSS systems as well as dual band technology. Based on my experience, the positioning accuracy was very good. During a normal run in different environments, the watch doesn't cut corners and records the route very accurately. Even in the forest on a narrow trail, it doesn't deviate significantly from the actual path, and when running around the track, it stays perfectly on the lane that was run. There is also some interesting data available for long-term training analysis. One example is the so-called Running Ability Index. This metric evaluates running performance and does correlate with the commonly used VO2 max value, but according to Huawei, it is explicitly different as it specifically relates to running performance. Huawei explains this in great detail on its website, so among other things they also mentioned that former professional cyclist Lance Armstrong, for example, had an extremely high VO2 max of 83, yet completed his first marathon in only 2 hours and 59 minutes, which is far from elite runner times. This running ability is therefore expressed by the running ability index. VO2 max is still calculated separately. In my case, the watch estimates my VO2 max at 64, which is a bit higher than it realistically should be for me. I usually sit somewhere between 58 and 60. You are also shown running performance predictions. And in addition, you can also see your training loads and your training index, meaning the effects your current training is having on your body. The watch also provides a recommended recovery time. How accurate is the Huawei Watch Ultimate 2 when it comes to heart rate tracking? To test this, as always, I recorded all of my workouts, both with the watch and with a chest strap, and then compared both datasets afterwards. When it comes to running, there is really nothing to complain about. The curves match almost perfectly. During interval training, there were slightly larger deviations, but overall the watch was still extremely accurate here as well. What really impressed me though was strength training. Just like with the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro, I achieved incredibly good results with the Ultimate 2. Across all my tests over the past few years, Huawei watches have been the most accurate in this area. Even when it didn't always look quite as perfect as in this example, the watch was still consistently above average in terms of heart rate accuracy. Finally, we also have to talk about the battery life, because personally I think this doesn't really live up to the name Ultimate. According to Huawei, when paired with an Android smartphone, the watch lasts up to 4.5 days with typical use. When paired with an iPhone, as in my case, it only lasts about 3.5 days. With always on display enabled, that drops to just 3 days or even 2.5 days. While the watch does last slightly longer than the Apple Watch Ultra 3, its battery life is significantly shorter than that of the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro, which offers up to 12 days with typical use. Since I tested the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro first and after that now the Ultimate 2, I was honestly pretty disappointed by the battery life. I personally use the watch very intensively, however I don't use the always on mode and I get around 3 days of battery life. At least, unlike many other Huawei watches, there is a power saving mode here that can extend battery life to up to 11 days. In expedition mode, the watch lasts up to 40 hours and in outdoor running mode, it lasts up to 21 hours, which I can also confirm. During a 1 hour run, the watch loses about 5% of battery for me. When diving, battery life is up to 18 hours or 12 hours if you use the underwater communication. Alright, so is the Huawei Watch Ultimate 2 a good choice? Personally, I think that it definitely offers a very compelling overall package. The design may be an acquired taste, but it's undoubtedly very premium. The watch offers a wide range of strong training and fitness features, including the X-Step sensor with its ECG functionality. It has offline maps, and especially for divers, this is probably the best smartwatch currently on the market. That definitely makes it a potential alternative to the Apple Watch Ultra 3, especially since it sits in a similar price range as well. My main issue with the watch, however, is that I personally don't really see a strong justification for the price difference compared to the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro, at least if you are not a diver. The GT6 Pro costs less than half as much. Yes, there are a few missing features, such as the lack of the X-Step sensor, but in return you get significantly better battery life as well. So personally, I would probably choose the GT6 Pro instead. If you place particular value on the X-Step sensor, the Huawei Watch 5 would also be a solid alternative. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the Huawei Watch Ultimate 2. If you found this video helpful or interesting, you could really support me and my work here by giving this video a quick thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to this channel to not miss any future reviews. But for now, thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next one.